When you ask racing fans of a certain age what some of their favorite cars are, this is a pretty common answer. We're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, where, quite frankly, this car has never been displayed in a much nicer looking way. This is the McLaren M16, which won the Indianapolis 500 in 1972 with driver Mark Donohue. It's an incredibly significant car for several reasons. It's the first win for the Roger Penske team, the first win for McLaren as a constructor at the Indianapolis 500. It's the first win for an IndyCar with true outboard wings. In fact, the speeds jumped some 12 miles an hour in just 1 year. It was an incredible race, an incredible time in history for IndyCar racing. But the reason I think a lot of people remember this car is because of the sponsor, Sunoco. The beautiful blue and yellow and red, it just screams classic racing. And it's a brand that's been, somewhat involved at times in IndyCar racing, but not quite in this capacity. Well, that's changing this year, and we'll get back to that in just a second. But I think it's really important before we look to the future to go back into the past and talk about the significance of this sponsor and these colors, not only in IndyCar racing, but in the whole of the auto racing sport.
Sunoco was certainly synonymous with Penske in the late 1960s and early 1970s. From the infamous acid-dipped Camaros that terrorized the Trans Am series to the Can-Am killer Porsche 917-30, Penske's early cars all carried the famous blue and yellow. Naturally, the livery followed Penske to the Indy cars in June of 1968, where the team made its first start at Mosport Park in Canada with the beautiful Sunoco Eagle. The culmination of the partnership would come nearly 5 years later when the Sunoco McLarens of Gary Bettenhausen and Mark Donohue dominated the 1972 Indianapolis 500. Bettenhausen led 138 laps, but broke down with less than 30 laps to go, handing the race to teammate Donohue and immortalizing the blue and yellow in Speedway lore. The Sunoco logo would appear smaller and smaller on the Team Penske machines until it disappeared altogether in 1977. And in the following decades, the brand would appear in IndyCar racing sporadically until 2010, when Sunoco was named the official fuel supplier of the series, a title it would hold until 2018. During that time, primary sponsorship also returned to the side of an IndyCar, when Townsend Bell qualified his Dallara Chevy for the 2013 500. And Tony Kanaan would sport the same colors for 4 races later on that season. Of course, Sunoco has remained active in other motorsports. They've been the official fuel of NASCAR since it took over from Union 76 in 2004, and recently made the jump to the Formula One world, with the Kick Sauber team appearing on the car in the rounds in the United States. Sunoco last appeared on an IndyCar actually as recently as 2024 at the Indianapolis 500 with Romain Grosjean for Juncos Hollinger Racing. But in 2026 and beyond, the famous colors will be a staple in the IndyCar paddock for years to come. Just this time, they're partnered with a team you might not expect, given their history.
And this is where my journey takes me next, to Chip Ganassi Racing Shop here in Indianapolis, where the next chapter of Sunoco's IndyCar racing history will be written. Next year, Kyffin Simpson will be piloting the Sunoco Special, and I can assure you it is going to be one of the most photographed cars in all of IndyCar racing next year. Got to speak to Kyffin about this sponsorship and about his prospects for next year.
I mean, we were able to just approach them and see if they were interested in having a partnership with Chip Ganassi Racing, and it's been a while since they've been in IndyCar full time, but I mean, they've got a very rich racing history, so it just feels very fitting for them to be in IndyCar. Yeah, it's very cool. It's one of those things where you kind of have to just pinch yourself. Like, it's just a cool livery. It's a cool company. They've done so many cool things that it's just awesome to be a small part of it. I think this year we were very good, but we just weren't as consistent as we needed to be. So I just want to really level up that consistency and be more consistently looking to challenge for top fives and podiums. It just kind of shows you, like, you always have a good foundation to go back to. Like, if I go wandering off on setup in some direction that I think is going to help, and then it doesn't work out, I know I can always just we can just go back to Alex's setup or Scott's setup and we'll be fine, you know. It'll be good enough for what I want, you know. So it's always good to have that like base there that you're like, we'll be okay. And then also just the extra data to always be comparing to and improving upon.
So a super cool livery, super cool story. I think it's going to be one of the most photographed liveries next year, no doubt about it. I think a lot of people are going to be excited to see that car take to the track when we get to testing, obviously here in a couple of months, and of course when the Indy cars get to racing in St. Pete here in 3 months? It still seems so long away. I tried to get Chip Ganassi Racing to let me take this Reynard home for Christmas, but I couldn't talk them into it. It is beautiful, and at least they let me film next to it, and I can touch it a little bit. I think I might get kicked out here in a second, but thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate that. More off-season content coming, and thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more IndyCar and motorsport content. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.